Don't forget the doc. Several network participants recently called into Dr. Rick Wright's Old School Sundays radio show. Check this out.
Hottest show ever in the history of radio broadcasting, Donald Singletary. How things sound in New York City, man?
Hey, Rick, how you doing? Valentine's Day here.
So the show is smoking in New York City this afternoon, man?
Absolutely. Folks strolling, folks shopping, and some folks just cold hiding out.
Oh, wow. Well, happy Valentine's Day to you as we celebrate Valentine's Day in African-American history, man. Last night I was a keynote speaker at the Bethany Baptist Church, man. Big house, a lot of people, man, and the Reverend Phil Turner. And, man, I didn't even get to the speech that I wrote, man.
Wow.
I tell you what happened, man. There was a beautiful sister dressed in red, man, sitting on one of the third pews in this church, man, Bethany, which is a beautiful facility here in Syracuse.
Yeah.
And she started shouting, man, "Thank you, Jesus." Oh, man, it's reminded me so much of my late grandmother, Mrs. Annie Wright Collins of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, man, and as I kicked off the speech, man, and had a ball talking African-American history and some of the things that we should do and our great history of the past, man. But I got you on the air, the world's greatest public relations executive, Donald Singletary, checking in from New York City. So, Donald, what's up, man?
Well, you know, it seems like just a couple of weeks ago we were honoring Percy Sutton here in New York, who among his many accomplishments was starting BLS and being one of the leading politicians in New York City. He also was a member of the Tuskegee Airmen. And we've lost another one of that, unfortunately, shrinking class of Tuskegee Airmen out of World War II, Lee Archer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Lee Archer passed away on January 27th, and he was born and raised here in New York, went to DeWitt Clinton High School, and got his degree from UCLA and NYU. And he was initially, like many, denied entrance into the Army Air Corps because it was segregated. And when they started Tuskegee Airmen, he joined right up in the famous, 332nd Fighter Group. And he was one of the first black ace pilots, and he was what they call a triple. In other words, he destroyed 3 German M109s in a single mission. And, that's an incredible thing. I mean, to destroy 5 planes altogether, it makes you an ace. He did 3 in one mission. And he was just outstanding. And after he left, he had an outstanding career in the Air Force, and then went to the private sector. And I know he worked with General Foods for a good while. And he was part of that group that, you remember the late Reginald Lewis?
Yes.
Yeah, and together they bought the McCall Pattern Company, which is a long-standing brand company. And they bought that, and that initiated the buyout of Beatrice International Foods in 1987, and that made Beatrice the largest minority-owned firm in the United States.
Brothers made a lot of money, man.
They sure did. They really did well. And he was noted by Fortune magazine as one of 5 pioneers who broke corporate America's color barrier. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor in 2008, which is really much too late. And many, the French honored him with the Legion of Honor, and just many, many things. By the way, he was working as a consultant on an upcoming film called The Red Tails about the Tuskegee Airmen, going to be produced by none other than George Lucas of Star Wars fame.
Oh, this will be an incredible movie, man. Lieutenant Colonel Archer.
Yes, if you ever met him,
Yes.
he was a very impressive man. I met him in his days at General Foods when I was at AT&T. Just a very impressive, good, down-to-earth, real person. A true hero.
And the thing about it, man, they tried to shut the program down during World War II. The Tuskegee Airmen, man, some of the greatest aviators ever in the history of the United States Air Force, United States Army Air Corps, better yet, the whole United States military. And boy, those Southern congressmen and senators tried to shut the program down. But thank God for Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune and Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt, man. Well, I tell you, it was an incredible, it had to be an incredible scene, man. All the brothers knew that Mrs. Roosevelt was becoming, And none of the other guys knew that Mrs. Roosevelt was coming. And in the air traffic control tower at Tuskegee Airfield back in the 1940s, man, guys were sitting there, Liza Dacre, all that kind of stuff, hanging around the control tower. And on the control tower comes the following message. Tuskegee Air, this is Air Force One requesting landing instruction.
There you go, President.
And then the guy said, would you repeat, please? Yes, this is Air Force One requesting landing instruction to Tuskegee. give us all the vectors and the runway position and when and all that stuff and altimeter settings, man. And by the way, we got the first lady on board the airplane. And man, she got off the plane, man, and everything went haywire. But all the brothers knew she was coming, and she went flying and got the Tuskegee Airmen moving and grooving, man. The Red Tails, man.
The Red Tails. Hey, look, Rick, since it's your funk hour, I got to inject something else. You know, we want another one. A woman, a lot of people may not have heard of, Malia Franklin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was known as the Queen of Funk, and behind the scenes, very powerful force. She was both a member of Prince's Camp and also P-Funk, and she had a large impact on a lot of musicians. She played with just the P-Funk and Prince's aggregation, Snoop Dogg and James Brown, and lots of other people, you know, and it just helped a lot of young, up-and-coming musicians and singers, and people loved it. They referred to her as the Queen of Funk, Malia Franklin. So let's always remember her also. One of those unknown people we don't hear about a lot, that didn't get all their props, but a lot of people in the industry certainly respected her, and I wanted to pay her some tribute today as well.
Malia Franklin hanging out with the King of Funk, George Funkadelic Clinton.
That's right. All the way to James Brown and Snoop Dogg and Prince. Now, you know, if you're playing with those guys, you know you got to know what you're doing.
You got to know how to play. Hey,
that's right.
Hey, Diamond, are you there, darling?
Yes, I am.
You got a question for Mr. Donald Singletary this afternoon?
Yes, I do. So what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Make me an offer.
Oh, really? Okay. we got to save that. We can't do that on the radio. Come on, PR.
This ain't cable, huh? Okay.
Okay, if we paint the mental pictures of radio's theater of the mind, Donald, I want you to take it to the next phase, man, with the Isley Brothers.
Okay, brother. Listen, happy Valentine's Day to all.
Okay, Donald, check you out in New York City there.
Okay, Rick, I'll be up there in early April. I'll give you the details.
Okay.
All right, brother. Take care.
Donald Singletary checking us in from New York City.
All right, so get to all the Syracuse University alums throughout the world. Checking out Dr. Rick Wright, Power 106.9 Old School Sunday. On a big bad Sunday afternoon, Dr. Rick Wright live and well in Syracuse here at Power 106.9 Radio. Do it.
The network reminds you that you too may call in to Dr. Rick Wright on Sundays between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check in with the doc at area code 315-428-1069. Don't forget the doc.